What's going on, guys? Welcome to another Doctor Who review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 10th Doctor David Tennant story, The Fires of Pompeii. This is the second episode from Series 4, which is David Tennant's final full season as the Doctor. Of course, you've got the specials afterwards, but really looking forward to rewatching this one again. I mean, I've seen it God knows how many times because this is my favourite era of the show. Series 4 especially is my favourite series. And yeah, The Fires of Pompeii is also one of my favourite episodes. So I kind of knew what rating this was gonna get, and I knew all about it going into this, but I've got to rewatch it again for this review to make some notes and stuff. So yeah, let's get started with the review, starting with the cast. So David Tennant as the 10th Doctor, I mean, he's amazing. Of course he always is. There isn't a bad performance of David Tennant in my opinion. Maybe I'm biased because he's my favourite Doctor, but I think in this one especially, he is really, really good. Some great funny moments, some great serious moments too, and just the chemistry between him and Catherine Tate, it's just amazing between the Doctor and Donna. The chemistry is amazing, it's there straight away, and honestly I think this is one of the best episodes for the chemistry, because you've got their funny moments, you know, at the beginning when they're talking in English and then people think they're talking Celtic, and the whole, you know, TARDIS translation thing. You've just got a lot of funny moments throughout, like with the water pistol when Donna gets, you know, captured by the Sisterhood and the Doctor has the water pistol. Really funny moments there too. And then you've got the serious stuff at the end where, well, throughout the whole thing really, where Donna is saying to the Doctor, why can't you save people? We can get people out of here right now and everybody will be safe. But the Doctor's going on about, no, that's not how this works. It's a fixed point in time, and you have all that at the end as well. And the really emotional part where Donna's literally crying at the end to just save somebody. So yeah, the chemistry between the two is amazing, so might as well talk about it now. Catherine Tate is also fantastic here. She is so good. She probably solidified herself as my favourite companion at this point. I mean, she was great in The Partners in Crime, but here again, she's just so good. And it's really awesome seeing these two together. They make such a good duo, and yeah, I can't wait to rerun back through Series 4. So on to the good and the bad, starting with the good. The Doctor thinking they're in Rome. So they come out of the TARDIS and the Doctor thinks they're in Rome because that's where he's kind of planned to go. But it turns out once the ground starts shaking that it's not Rome, it's actually Pompeii, and that is Vesuvius kind of starting to erupt. And yeah, it's a big revelation, and it's like, oh my goodness, they are not where they thought they were and things are going to go down. And I really like it when Doctor Who do these sort of, you know, historical moments, but then kind of have a sci-fi twist to them, and I really do quite like how they integrate the sci-fi twist into this one. I think it's one of the best examples of it personally, just with how everything unfolds at the end, but I will get to that later. But yeah, just thinking they're in Rome straight away is really funny. I also love the callback to the Romans, where the Doctor's like, oh yeah, I've been to Rome before. The fire had nothing to do with me. And he's like, well, okay, maybe it had a little bit to do with me, but just let's forget about that. That's really funny because that's a callback to The Romans, which is a first Doctor episode. So way back in 1964, 65, I think, that one. So yeah, just a massive callback there, and I love that sort of thing, especially that far back into the show's history. Peter Capaldi and Karen Gillan before their main roles. This is the first appearance of those two actors in Doctor Who. Of course, Karen Gillan would go on to play Amy Pond in the next series, Series 5, but she played one of the kind of Sisterhood priestess women in this one, you know, the prophecy women. And then Peter Capaldi, of course, goes on to play the 12th Doctor. He plays Caecilius in this episode, so he's so good in this. He's really good. You can absolutely see his love for the show in this performance, and his acting is just impeccable. I mean, it always is with Peter Capaldi. And Karen Gillan as well. Honestly, wouldn't have even thought that it was Karen Gillan. It doesn't look anything like her with all the makeup and everything on, and, you know, slightly different voice as well. She hasn't got that hasn't got that Scottish accent. I've probably really offended someone then. Sorry. She's Scottish, I know. Yeah, just really good performances from both of them, and it's awesome to see them before the show. Before they were mainly in the show, that's what I meant to say. The Doctor armed with a water pistol. Yeah, I mentioned this before. I just love that moment where he grabs the water pistol out and he's like, "Don't come any closer, I'm armed." And it's just like, what? You've literally got a water pistol. And it's like, well, these creatures, they're volcanic magma creatures. So, yeah, and I love that moment where the woman, one of the prophecy people, I don't know what you want to call them, she's like, "I can see into his mind. The weapon is useless." And he's like, "Yeah, but it's got a sting." And he just squirts it at him. I love that moment. And then Donna's reaction. "You fought them off with a water pistol. I bloody love you." I love that line. It's such a good line. It's just, brilliant, top quality Dr. Donna banter. The Doctor and Donna are the reason Pompeii burns and Vesuvius erupts. This is what I was talking about when I said that, it's Doctor Who going on a historical kind of story, but adding a sci-fi twist. And this twist is that Vesuvius actually was never going to erupt at all. Now, the one issue I do have with this is, and I mean, maybe there's just a scientific reason behind it, because I mean, it is a volcano, but it wasn't actually going to erupt according to this, until the Doctor and Donna did what they had to do. But, they did now and again have the rumbles. Now, the slight volcanic, earthquakes, sort of. That was surely to do with the volcano. But if it wasn't going to erupt, would that still happen? Maybe it would. I don't really know. I'm not a volcanologist. That's not the word for it, but that's the word I'm going to use. I don't know anything about volcanoes and earthquakes and stuff like that, so maybe that is something that would happen, even if it's not an active volcano. Stuff like that would still happen. But, yeah, I thought that was a little bit strange. But, yeah, it ends up being that the Doctor has to basically erupt Vesuvius to save the world. It's either the creatures end up destroying the world and taking over, or the Doctor himself destroys Pompeii and ends up saving the rest of the world. And that's the price he's got to pay, and that's what he has to do. And it's a really, really scary, emotional moment when the Doctor and Donna are in that little capsule, in that escape pod, and he's just like, I can save the rest of the world, but Pompeii burning, it's me. It's my fault. It happened because of me, somewhat. And that's just a really good hit home sort of moment. I just think it's great. Finally, the Doctor and Donna save Caecilius and his family. Of course, at the end, Donna's like, "You've got to at least save someone," and the Doctor's like, "I can't, if I could go back to my home planet and save all my people, I would, but I just can't." But then Donna kind of convinces him, "You know what, you can do this, just save someone, anyone," and he decides that he's going to save Caecilius and his family. And it's a very crazy moment, and I love how that somewhat ties in to why Peter Capaldi possibly became the 12th Doctor. The face, this face is familiar. Peter Capaldi was saying that a lot throughout his era, and then he figured it out, and it was, I guess, because the 10th Doctor saved the look-alike of him, and that's why he then chose that face to be the Doctor. I think it's just, I don't think this was planned at the time, but it really comes full circle many, many years down the track, and I just really like that. So, for the bad, I'm going to be honest, there isn't really anything at all. I thought some of the acting was a bit iffy here and there. A couple of the prophecy women were a little bit, like the one that had like the dagger that she was gonna kill Donna with. The way she kind of thrust it up in the air and her face looked a little bit strange. But it's a nitpicky thing. Also, there was one moment that I actually hadn't really noticed before, but just now that this episode has aged quite a lot, and it's, a fairly old episode now, the bit where Donna's talking to, I've forgotten her name, but the daughter of Caecilius, Evelina, I think that's her name, when she's talking to her about, Vesuvius is going to erupt, and she, looks and kind of connects with the other women, the other prophecy women, the flames and just the effect that comes up, it does look very dated now. It really does. I hadn't really noticed that before, but watching it I was like, ooh, that is actually not aged very well. But once again, that's not something that I can really you know, chop the episode down for, because it's of the time. So yeah, really nothing bad to say here. So a rating out of 10, it's an easy one for me. It is a 10 out of 10. Fires of Pompeii has always been one of my favourite episodes of the show, especially of the kind of Russell T Davies era and the modern series in general. And yeah, it's such a good episode. Great acting on the most part from the main characters. A good villain, a good enough villain, with a nice little twist with what happens at the end. Really, really love that twist. And yeah, all main characters are on fighting form, and they're so good. So yeah, an easy 10 out of 10 for the Fires of Pompeii. So let's go to the TARDIS of episodes and see what we will be reviewing. See if I can speak. What we will be reviewing next. Alright, so as we usually do, if we pick out another 10th Doctor story, we will be redrawing it, because I just don't really like doing the same Doctor back to back. That's just how we're doing this. So any of the other Doctors is how we're gonna do this. Give it a little shake. Make sure it's all mixed around. I will take the lid off if I can even do that. Jeez, that's really untight. Alright, I'm just gonna go through, pick this one here. That's the one we've got. So the episode we will be reviewing next time is The Eaters of Light. Okay, another 12th Doctor one. Getting a lot of 12th Doctor stories recently. Yeah, The Eaters of Light, Series 10. Not one of my favourite episodes. So, yeah, interesting to see what I end up rating that after another rewatch and a kind of more analytical look at it. So, yeah, The Eaters of Light will be the next new series review on the channel. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.